ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're here for a live match reaction this week. Usually we do the pre-recorded sort of video version of our match reactions on this channel. Today I've decided I'm going to go live. Why am I going to go live? Why am I changing it up? I don't really know. Mostly because the game that we watched today, this afternoon, wasn't the greatest. Quite a few things to say on different matters. Wasn't a pleasant game to talk about from a Celtic point of view anyway. And overall I thought it could be doing with a little bit of discussion with me, myself, the host of the channel of course, and you guys get your thoughts and feelings towards today's game, today's performance, and talk about what's been obviously a kind of, I don't want to go into, you know, melodramatics here or overreactions, but it's been a troublesome couple of weeks for Celtic. You know, that's 3 of our last, 4 or 5 games that we've failed to win. We drew with Motherwell. We lost to Rangers. We now drew with St Mirren at Celtic Park today. I wouldn't say it's cause for concern, but I will echo the voices and the thoughts of our manager and our captain this afternoon in saying it's really annoying, and we're not working hard enough, and we need to be better for this cup final coming up. You know, there's a lot of people out there who I've already wrote off Inverness as if we've got a guaranteed treble in the bag. And don't get me wrong, Celtic are the favourites. We should be beating Inverness. There should be no excuses for beating Inverness. But when you look at a performance like today, be it in the Championship or not, Inverness will be licking their lips if we were to turn up to Hampden looking like that in 2 weeks' time. So, yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to unwrap from today's 2-2 draw with St Mirren. And what was a very bleak 90 minutes for Celtic fans. If you were there, you'll know it was a pretty weak 90 minutes for us. I feel like we were actually lucky to get a point from that game. And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, we had chances and yada yada. I think we were lucky. I think that St Mirren fans were rightly gutted in dropping 2 points late on in the game. They probably deserved the win, the way that they came to Celtic Park and bettered us, I would say. They bettered and battered us. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm happy with the point. I'm not going to complain about the point, but they just looked a lot more confident than us today, I thought. I thought they looked more up for it. And they just had a lot more desire and aggression in their game. For example, I think that you look at someone like Curtis Main today, who's not a great football player by any means. You know, he's good, he's okay. He's a St Mirren kind of player, right? You look at something like Curtis Main today, but I thought he bullied the Celtic backline. I thought he was right in amongst us. And he was lucky, we were lucky, that he didn't score more today. He hit the post as well, didn't he? He himself could have had 3 or 4. And I just thought he was bullying the backline. I thought that was, a lot of the St Mirren team today, they just looked like they had more in the locker in terms of overall motivation and kind of eagerness to try and get something from the game. Celtic were very much on the back foot throughout the entirety. We did have our chances, of course. We came close with hitting the woodwork as well. I think it was saved onto the woodwork from where I sat anyway. May not even touch the post, but we went for a corner anyway, late in the second half, just before we got our second goal actually. We did have chances, but I just don't think we were convincing at all when we had chances. I didn't feel like we were going to score, yet every time St Mirren went forward with the ball, I thought they could have scored, and I didn't have confidence in Joe Hart or the defence to stop them from scoring. And a lot of people were bringing up, and a lot of people are bringing up the Cameron Carter-Vickers stuff. Yeah, we do miss him. There's no denying it. We direly miss him. But that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be causing Celtic to have issues like we have over the last 2 weeks. It shouldn't be a Cameron Carter-Vickers problem. Ange Postecoglou spoke about that today. I think on BBC, he said something along the lines of, like, we played Champions League football without Cameron Carter-Vickers this season. We were better than that, against much better sides than that. So suddenly when you lose someone like that for a league game against St Mirren, no disrespect to them, you shouldn't see a massive difference, I don't think. So I don't think it's like we could just pin it down to the absence of Cameron Carter-Vickers being at fault for what was wrong with us today. We were very poor, and we've got to learn from that. We've got to move on from that. We need to work harder. It feels like we've accepted we've won the league title. And I said this in the match preview yesterday, so one thing I didn't want to see from today's game was more evidence and more proof to back up that we have took our foot off the gas. It looked like it again today. It just looked so slack, so lackadaisical. All these same buzzwords are using for performances like this. It just feels like we're in holiday mode and we're ready to get to this cup final and move on and get the holidays in. and then we'll be back again next season. I don't want to be like that. I want us to be that we never stop side. I want us to be that side that goes right full force to the end of the season, 100 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, and they just keep going and going and going, scoring goal after goal after goal. But today, nah, you wouldn't think that would be the case at all. Very frustrating. Callum McGregor, he came out after the game and said that he was really annoyed with the performance. His comments was along the lines of, he was really annoyed. First half, we were so far off the pace. We lose 2 really poor goals and we give ourselves a mountain to climb. Obviously, then they're happy to sit in. You've got to probe and get back into the game. And St Mirren, fair play to them. They made it hard for us to get back into the game. I genuinely didn't think the second goal was going to come for us. I didn't think we were going to get an equaliser. I had no faith for us to do it. And one reason for that is I just feel like we didn't have a spark of creativity in the second half. Brilliant goal from McGregor, cracking finish. I'm not going to say we were lucky. We probably did deserve to get that goal in the end, right? Just with the way the game was going at that point. We were making more chances, we had more of the ball, and it was about time we finally got it, right? But if he didn't strike that from where he did, would we have got a goal? Probably not. And that was with all those attacking players in the park that we had at that point. But one thing, and I don't like criticising Ange. I don't, because he doesn't deserve any criticism. I love him, he's brilliant. But sometimes you've got to be critical. That's on you. Obviously, there's things to be critical on. Nobody's fucking perfect. What do I know? I'm a fat, specky bastard that sits behind this computer chair. But one thing I will say, and one thing I'm always critical of, I just feel like we take so long to make substitutions. We were lacking so much creativity. It looked as though we were getting nothing. We were doing the wrong things. And I'm going to come on to a couple of the wrong things in a minute. We were doing the wrong things, and we just waited and waited and waited. I feel like somebody like Haxa or O or Abada, who did come on, they could have came on much earlier. And I feel like they could have had an impact in the game. I thought they could have done something if they were given a little bit more time. Obviously, they came on and didn't do much anyway, but I feel like we just wait and sit there for so long for something to happen sometimes. And I'm like, just make a sub, make a change, spark a bit of creativity. And you've got to do that by changing something. And we waited quite a while to do it. Paid off and getting the draw in the end, but I think that, we need to win these games. You don't want to draw them, you want to win them. So, yeah. The things that we are doing wrong, there's so many things right now, and from today's game especially, that I just feel like just irritate the life out of me. Like, one thing that I'm going to try, I've picked up on today, see these wee dink crosses that we do, and it just kills the pace of the ball. We don't have the tallest players in the world, especially in the first half. It was prevalent. They've done it on 2 occasions in 5 minutes. And it was like, drill it low and hard. There's so many bodies in the box. It's going to bounce off someday. If it's not a Celtic player, it's going to come off a St Mirren player. Force a mistake. But instead, we're taking it in, we're taking it right to the byline, and then we're dinking this wee chip ball for either Maida or Kyogo, who are about 5'4", and they can't do anything with it. The pace is killed on the ball. They're struggling to get on top of it, and it's just cushioned into the keeper's hands. And it annoys me. I just feel like we weren't thinking today. There was no football IQ in the park for large portions of the game, I thought. But I guess at the end, we got the point. That's the main thing. I'd rather the one than the none. But ultimately, games at Celtic Park, you should be getting the free. And we didn't get the free, which is really frustrating. In terms of performances and players individual, I'm going to come on to you guys in a minute and get your points and use that for the kind of last 5-10 of the stream. But in terms of individual performances today, pass marks for players and such, and players who deserve a lot of criticism or whatnot, I thought there was a really couple of poor performances today. A lot of people are going to highlight Joe Hart's performance. And look, people keep throwing this out there, like, we need a new keeper. Yeah, we do. But people are saying it as if we don't all know it as well. Like, it's going to happen, I think. We will get a keeper at some point. He was poor today. Ralston, I thought, was his old self. And not his good old self. Not last season's old self, like his old self. I thought he was really bad today. The whole back line were bad. Even Taylor was rotten today. He was getting rings run around him, I thought. As for pass marks, I feel like Maida and Jota were trying on those wings. I feel like they were trying to make stuff happen. Maida was trying to use his pace, Jota was trying to use his ability. But I just feel like overall, there's not many. Kyogo, obviously, did you hear that? I banged my finger off it. That was sore. That was really sore. Banged it right off the desk. But yeah, I just thought that overall, there's not many pass marks to give out. Kyogo with a cracking goal, McGregor with a cracking goal. But in terms of their 90-minute performances, because both of them got the 90, I don't know. It wasn't exactly, they didn't drop 7s or 8s out of 10s for me. So yeah, not too much to talk about, but yeah, 2-2. Curtis Main bullied us. St Mirren well deserved the point, and look, listen, they have. Before I come on to your guys' comments and get your thoughts on today's game, what I will say is about St Mirren this year, they have been our toughest test. They're the only side who have took more than 3 points off us this season. I tell a lie, they're not. Rangers have took more than 3, they've took 4, haven't they? But they're the only side who I feel like have actually really tested us over the course of, 2-3 games. And Stephen Robinson deserves his credit for that. He deserves his acknowledgements for that. And we need to improve and we need to learn from these things, and hopefully we do. Just very quickly, Ange's comments on today, he said it was a tough game, St Mirren worked hard, and that's why they are where they are. We never got to grips with the game. It was a bit of a struggle for us. It's fair to say we've gone off a little bit in the last couple of weeks, particularly in the defensive side of the game. It's very hard to play the football we want to. And then, yeah, talks about the Cameron Carter-Vickers stuff that I touched on earlier. And overall, he says we're not working as hard. So that's the thing we need to pick up on first and foremost. We need to start working as hard as we have up until the last couple of weeks. Where's it gone? There's not a need for panic. I logged onto Twitter for 5 minutes and I nearly put a bullet through my brain because there's so many people who just dive two-footed in and this, that, and the next thing, and it annoys me. But there's no denying there is, you've got to sit and be critical about performances like that. They're not acceptable, and you don't want to drop points. But yeah, thank you for the donation, Mike. £5. He says could be worse. Heads up, folks. It could be worse. It could be. Listen, at the end of the day, next week when we're having that beautiful full stadium tifo and we're lifting the league title, we're not going to think about St Mirren 2, Celtic 2. And when we're lifting that trophy and then potentially a Scottish Cup the week after, we're not going to be thinking about that. So it could be worse. We just know what we need to work on in the summer. We know what the next steps are, and we can be a better side overall and avoid slip-ups like today and last week. Anyway, right, let's get your thoughts. Let's get your points for the rest of the stream. I see a lot of people arguing in the comments. Oh, come on, guys. Come on. Back in. We're better than that. We're not them. Right? Calm it. Arguing. We're fucking top of the league, man. We're champions, for fuck's sake. We're not even top of the league. We're champions. Stop arguing. Come on. Right, I want some good points to bring up to see what there is. I don't agree with that at all, Mr. Tom Brady. Super Bowl champion 8 times or however many it is. I don't agree with that. It's a perfectly rated Celtic team. It's a very good Celtic team who's slipped up over the course of 2 weeks. Oh, it's not that big a deal. Right, I want some thoughts and opinions and things to bring on in regards to today. Main point from me, Lawal should have been given a chance over Iwata, says Josh. Big call. But I suppose, there is a case for it. Lawal has been playing all season in the B team, centre-half, good enough season. Is he ready for first-team football? We don't know. But maybe he should be given the opportunity. Who knows? But Iwata did play at centre-half for Yokohama a few times. And obviously Ange knows that and probably wanted to see if he could do that today. Was he impressive? Not really. I think him and Ralston were, highlighted a couple of times by me and my mates. But, yeah. Nathan Green says, think we've become too used to winning every week. Mind the days we won the league with 80-odd points. Soon as the whistle goes, who cares, lads? Titles won. It's good getting used to winning every week, but obviously you have to watch complacency alongside that. Thank you, Full Monk, for your £5 donation. It's very much appreciated, sir. Let's see. Regressing badly. See, this is the thing. We've been poor, but are people genuinely losing the rag over this? Am I overly optimistic? Am I too positive? I'm annoyed about the last couple of results. Am I concerned? Do I think this is the downfall of Ange and Celtic? Absolutely not. No, obviously not. Come on, wind your neck in, lads. It's a bad result, but come on. Jesus. Well, it's just the Celtic team need to go out and prove it against us over the last 2 games. We've got 2 games, actually 3 games including the Cup final, to show how good our side this is. And they need to understand that and put the... Easter Road's a good opportunity for us. Away from home, tough venue. Let's go out and put an impressive performance. in the works and get a good scoreline. That would be fantastic. Champion, I'll take it. Let's see. Let's see, what else? Sometimes we need to take 2 to 3 steps back to go forward with drive and determination. You know, sometimes these things can help us in regards to the bigger picture and learning and getting better, you know. If you win all the time, then you think everything's perfect, then something comes along and slaps you in the face. Maybe this is the premature slap in the face that we need. I'm not going to use that as an excuse for us to obviously drop points and lose games or draw games. But what I am saying is, if you want a premature slap in the face to prove to you that there's things there to fix, then maybe this is the time to get it over and done with when we're secured as champions. I'm not bothered about the results. I've just thought these players were overrated. How many of them would fetch 20 million? None, probably. Well, it's a conversation for another day, I suppose. Big summer needed. I want a big summer because players are going to leave. Ultimately, you need a big summer. I think every summer should be a big summer. It's, once again, I'll come back to the same word I've used in regards to performances here, but I'll use it for the bigger picture. Complacency. You don't want to be complacent, and Ange's already spoke about being ruthless in the transfer market. You know, he recognises this, and he knows that we need to get better, and he knows we need to keep signing players. I think that every summer is a big summer. I don't think there's any that you need to be laid back on. I don't agree in dropping Kobayashi. Bad for his confidence when he needs game time. I'm hoping and I think that he won't take it as much of a confidence knock. There are players to fit in and try and give chances and do things. And obviously last week was poor for him. But we spoke to the manager. That we're working on that at Lennoxtown. I don't think it'll be that big a deal. Thank you very much, Craig, as always, for the £10 donation. You're a hero. Said Ange will sort this out. His philosophy is better than before. He knows what is needed. Let him get on with it. I'll pretend it says let and not Kit. I let him get on with it. I agree, Craig. I couldn't put it better myself. And I'm not saying that only because you've given me a donation. It's because it's my thoughts exactly. It'll be fine. Next season we'll hit the ground running again and we'll be fantastic. I just think that a few people are put the holiday mode on early, and we need to get rid of that, and we really do. And I'm hoping that the return of the likes of Carter Vickers and such helps us as well. But that highlights that there's work to do in the summer transfer window. I'm going to end it there. Thank you very much. Before I go, a massive shout out to the Patrick Sarsfield CSC over in Ireland, who I gave a shout out to last year, and they decided to send me over a free shirt. So thank you to the guys over there, and thank you to Martin who got in touch. It is appreciated. I hope you are enjoying yourselves, and I hope you all enjoy your Saturday nights. Everybody watching on live or watching it back. We'll be back better on Wednesday. Hibs, looking forward to it. Looking forward to Trophy Day next week. Thank you to Mac for the £5 donation right at the end, saying, "In Kate we trust." I do not endorse. I do not condone. But thank you for the donation. Right, lads, enjoy your night. Enjoy your pints if you're having any or whatnot. I'll see you all next time.